parliamentary seat come the next elections. Of course, we have MP for Kibra with us, Bwana Ken Okoth from ODM, and we do understand that Rosemary Odinga has also declared interest in that seat. And of course, given the history of the Kibra and Langata in general seat, given the fact that Raila Odinga was MP for that area a short while back, of course, that is a serious statement from a person no less than your party leader. How does that, even before we go back to that theory of manual backup, how does that complicate the race for you in terms of seeking re-election come August?
First of all, let me just give you a brief history of Kibra. Joseph Murumbi, first vice president, was the MP for Langata South, for Nairobi South. He was followed by Eunice Ali. He was followed by Madhai Mwangi, Mwangi Madhai. All those ones served one term each in the first sort of 15 years. Then after that came Philip Liki. Philip Liki served 2 terms. Then came Raila Odinga, our party leader, who served 4 terms, 20 years. So we've had in that constituency first Nairobi South, then Langata, and now Langata split into 2. That we've had the first 3 MPs served only 1 term and were removed. Then you went to the second 2 MPs, one served 10 years under KANU. Raila Odinga has been our MP for 20 years under different parties. Now Langata was split into 2. The uppity, upper class Karen side with their golf courses and everything. The Kibra side, which is a mix. We've got Upper Hill, we've got Woodley, or we've got Kibra with the majority of the slum area. I'm a child of Kibra in the slum. I was raised by those mothers. Those mothers are capable of giving birth to a child who can be a leader, educating them, teaching them the values. I have proven with my track record. Just yesterday, last week, Kibra constituency was ranked out of 290 constituencies in management and delivery of projects by CBF, number 2 in the nation. The previous year we were number 1. So I'm a child of the home. I know what my support base is, and I accept and welcome any competition. For 3 years I've been consistent. We need more women in our politics. Rosemary Odinga is coming to run in Kibra. I cannot be inconsistent at the one hand say we want more women in our politics and leadership, but when one challenges me, I'm allergic to it. I say she is welcome. We will meet her with dignity and grace and respect. There will be no violence and insults against her. We will talk issues. We will walk door to door. I will remind my supporters why I'm a better MP for them based on what I have done. And I can assure you and my supporters, and I can assure you and my supporters that I have no intention of being like the first 3 MPs of Kibra who served 1 term. I will be like the last 2 MPs who served more than 1 term, like Philip Liki, like Raila Odinga. And so I'm saying, he is curious about what ticket. I am standing in the ODM nomination. Give me a chance to answer your question. I am a loyal member of ODM. I have defended ODM. I have contributed to ODM. I am in ODM right now, and we are fighting for that nomination with her. So I think it's not my job really to fight too much about my competition. Let them come in. You know, this is free publicity. For me as a politician, the bigger the competition, the better. For me as a personality, the higher the challenge, the better the glory when you win it. And I have my plan and commitment to get there and to win it and to serve not just 1 term, a 2nd term as the MP of Kibra. Because not for my own glory, by the way, and because people might think that, but to continue and finish the work we've done. We have so much yet to do, and we have shown we have started doing it, and there's more to come. We're just getting started.
Bwana Barak Muluka is burning just to give an analysis of what exactly is happening.
Because I think I understand what Mheshimiwa Barua means when he talks about backup.
What does that mean?
I'll come to that. Let me build the case. You know, for a start, I told Mheshimiwa Ken Okoth here, not once, not twice, not this year, not last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I told him that this was coming, and it has arrived, and I think he can confirm. He's an honest person. He can confirm that I told him that this was coming. The second thing I want to tell him is that he's not going to get the ODM nomination because of the backup factor. Rosemary Odinga is a safety valve for Raila Odinga. In the unlikely event, or even likely, in the unlikely event that he does not become president, then there must be somebody who can easily step aside for him, so that he can run and go to parliament, and now pose from parliament as a leader of a minority or something like that. That is why Mheshimiwa Ken Okoth will do himself and his constituents a lot of good if he started thinking about his own backup, his manual backup for ODM, because he is not going to get that ticket. When he recently invited people for the official opening of a very wonderful institution, an academy that he has constructed in Kibra, named after Raila Odinga. Even Raila did not turn up, and instead there were some hired goons. He may not admit, because people in this country try to play it safe, including very brilliant ones like Ken Okoth here, and who have done very good work. They try to play the sycophantic card to the extent that it is still possible. When they eventually get to a point where they discover it can't work, then they jump ship and say all manner of things. But I hope he doesn't get to that point, that he's going to see far, and that he's going to listen if he is not able to see, that because I saw far and told him what is happening to him now, that this time round he will listen.
Yes, but I've listened to him, and I just want to say it is true that we built a school and completed a project for the interest of our children.
Yes.
That school is a school where the mothers of Kibra send their children to a pleasant environment. It's a fantastic facility. I went to school in America for university. The boards there are not black, they are white. I made sure when we built this school here, it had the highest quality specifications like the schools I saw in America. So it is for the people of Kibra to benefit and their children to go to that school. Let us not politicize. It is true, I was stoned, my vehicle was damaged, I escaped Chupu Chupu.
What?
I ran there like a bat of hell when the mayhem broke. That is true. But those same stones that were hurled at me, I can tell you, Barack, because this is the kind of leader and person I am. We went and collected those stones, and we have moved them to another school, and I've already broken ground to place the foundation for another school in Kibra. So I might be a leader, you see here, you think I'm under siege, but I have a mission and a focus of where I'm going. And you can ask me to respond to my detractors, but there is more I see and understand than I will say, and sometimes my silence is the best defense.
Let's listen to this other gentleman. Do you agree with the analysis by Barack Muluka with regard to Bwana Ken Okoth's prospects for re-election in Kibera?
Well, I think he has acquired himself the title of a prophet.
Barack.
Prophet
Barack Muluka.
No. I just look at
prophet of doom. But he was right. For 3 years he kept telling me
it would happen.
It would be hot in Odin, but it is hot everywhere.
I want to imagine Rosemary is doing it just because she's a Kenyan who also wants to aspire to a position of
she could have done it.
Langata, that's where they live.
That's where, well, Langata,
that's what they live.
you know, she should run in Langata, but she can't.
She can't.
She's running, Langata is another ball game.
Yes.
Because there's been a very huge importation of voters from the Rift Valley. Yes.
Okay, back to Bwana Kibo.
Well, so I just wish her well, and I also wish our friend here well, and I hope the nomination exercise is going to be fair, free and fair, and also transparent. Should he find any difficulty, I have a party. I can give him as a backup.
I would like first of all to thank my friend, somebody I admire, Kipruto Arab Kirwa, for being the manual backup for my friend Ken Okoth. And this is a good manual backup. It's not a bad one. I also want to tell my friend Barack, who I respect so much, somebody who has been my boss, somebody who has played a part in making me the person I am today. That politics is not like publishing, where he taught me how to publish.
I told you about Kirinyaga.
Yeah, I'm coming. Hold your horses, I'm coming. Hold your horses, I'm coming. Don't prophesize again, my friend. I'm fearing your prophecy now. I hope you hold it today. I'm saying that in publishing, when you get a raw script, there's a process of from the raw script to editing, proofreading, until you get camera ready, you go to run in the machine. It's a very systematic, in fact there's a standard for publishing. When it comes to politics, when he talks about Ken and Barua being sycophants, that is not sycophants. This is the nature of the game. We play politics as politicians. I don't play politics as a publisher, neither does Ken or anybody else play politics as something else. Coming to the issue of the manual backup, I would like to state categorically here that it is clear that Raila is compromising his presidential bid, because Rosemary is actually running on behalf of his father. He's not running as herself, because it has been a bit difficult for Raila to be out in the court for 5 years and watch in disbelief is somebody like Hona Bunyenze enjoying the position of the leader of minority. So what is going to happen is, in the event, and actually in the likely event, that Raila Odinga loses, Rosemary will just call a press conference and say, I've resigned from being an MP for Kibra, so that a by-election can be called. And the first candidate to join there will be Raila Amolo Odinga, who will be elected, of course, and become a leader of minority in the House. So that is the angle I'm taking over manual backup.
Okay, well, that's according to Bwana Njogu Barua. Of course, Bwana Ken Okoth will be here on this panel as we move forward towards the election, and of course we'll be keeping an eye on
Can I be fair to myself?
Yes.
That people will ask, and I can't use the whole show to promote myself, I need to buy an advert, but I can tell people that I do have a website. It's kennethokoth.co.ke. You can learn what else have I done, because some people will say, what has he done?
Yes.
What is his agenda for continuing? So I have a campaign website. You can make contributions to my campaign, because I'm not from a rich family or a rich background. I have not looted anything, so I need the support of common citizens who help me. But I do have a website where you can check updates on everything we've done in Kibra on social media, and I'll leave it.
And after that commercial break, let's continue with the news review. Of course, you mentioned something about Bwana Raila Odinga's presidential bid. Now, wife of party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has once again called on his core principles in the Ford Alliance to drop their presidential ambitions and instead back him for the country's top job. Probably that's why you're suggesting that he needs a manual backup.
Yes.
Now, he was speaking in Machakos town while on a tour of the larger Ukambani region. Let's hear what he said. Well, unfortunately, the technical team was unable to get that story. But let's just talk about what Kalonzo keeps saying over and over, that Raila Odinga should actually let him be the flag bearer for CORD. Is it that simple? Is it just a matter of everyone else stepping aside and allowing Kalonzo to run?
First of all, we have 195 days left to this August 8th elections. 195 days. It is less than 7 months. So we have to look at what the formations are going to be. Jubilee has already set their formation. They've already declared their candidature. CORD is trying to expand into NASA, which will look like, if possible, the NAC that came in 2002, the Government of National Unity, the Rainbow Coalition. The expansion to NASA has to be executed with clinical precision very quickly to get all things. We can't afford a fallout in NASA and any disgruntlement. And then, you know, we're talking about nominations in ODM. We might actually be going for NASA nominations the way Jubilee are going for Jubilee nominations. So don't worry.
But this is the kind of rhetoric we've been hearing since last year. Surely we had hoped that at least the conversation had moved further, that we're no longer discussing about they should all step aside from me. Probably the choice of words would have been a bit different.
When we left Bomas of Kenya a few weeks ago, we said we will convene another meeting right after the voter registration is done. So I'm expecting personally for myself as somebody in the opposition that before the end of February we will reconvene. We will know who are the stakeholders. For instance, is KANU with us or not with us? Is half of KANU represented by Nick Salat with us and another half of KANU represented by Gideon Moi in Jubilee? We need to know all those things and then set up a lineup. And I think it can be a formidable lineup because the issues are there and they must be communicated properly. So far we are really discussing personalities and we haven't come out clearly on the issues where we're saying here's where there's been a shortfall between delivery and promises of Jubilee government. Here's what NASA plans to deliver and how will we deliver it and who will we use to deliver. So then you can even declare, even with the current constitution, who's going to be our cabinet secretary for this, who's going to be our cabinet secretary for that, who's going to be in charge of our foreign policy, that type of thing, who's going to be our banner, run our banner in different seats across the country. Remember, you know, in places like Kakamega County, the deputy ODM leader, party leader, Governor Oparanya, is the governor there. The deputy party leader for Ford Kenya, Senator Kalwale, wants to remove him. All of these people are in NASA. When they were at Kasarani at Bomas, they were telling us the Mulembe nation has declared they're united. So they will have to do those things. If you go to Busia, Governor Ojamong is ODM. The person who was removing is another ODM MP, Funyula MP, Otuoma, former cabinet secretary. So those things have to be ironed out and people have to go back down on their egos and ambitions and then tell us what is the mission to remove Jubilee on what platform and why is it a better promise and a better deal for Kenya. Because clearly you can see there is many ways today that you can still see Kenyans are not better off than last year.
Now, before we come to Barack Muluka, of course your party leader has been the one fronting this talk of NASA.
Yes.
Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka, allow me to say, is not really it does not really, is not really welcoming to that idea of NASA. Do you see any movement? Do you think that NASA is still something that can work out, given the kind of talk that Bwana Kalonzo Musyoka continues to propel?
First of all, I don't see any contradiction between what he said yesterday and what NASA stands for. Number two, if I was Kalonzo, I would have said the same thing. Because really, if you are a general, you cannot tell your soldiers that you have surrendered to the other team. You have to fight on. As Mheshimiwa Ken Okoth has said, it's important that we put the process in place. And if the process is going to be right, the product is going to be right. And to me, that is more important. Remember the 2002 NAC wave was created over a period of 1 year. And our candidate, we named him almost on the eve of elections. Because the process had taken place from January. Our colleagues were in KANU LDP, and subsequent to that they came to National Rainbow Coalition. We formed it and we delivered the results to Kenyans. It is unfortunate there was betrayal after elections from certain quarters that I choose not to name at this particular time. So I do not see any problem because NASA is beyond the four political entities. There are other small parties like UDM, like NAC from Kaluki Ngilo. There is also the one of Mheshimiwa Professor Kibwana and many other entities. And we also go beyond political entities. We want to bring civil society. We want to bring the trade union and other Kenyans of goodwill who believe there is need for change in Kenya. So I do not see any problem. This is normal. I remember we had a meeting among the three principals at that time, Mheshimiwa Kibaki, Charity Ngilu, and Wamalwa in NAC, NAK. And for some 3 sessions, they were not talking. But they were meeting, we have a cup of tea, then they go.
Yes.
But these gentlemen, I'm sure they are talking.
Yes.
About CORD expanding into NASA, that is a natural process. There is no way we can face our brother here without being in one outfit that is bigger than the current coalition.
And of course, Jubilee has been sitting pretty and actually labeling the other side as rudderless, clueless, leaderless, and all those things. But if at all what Bwana Kipruto Arap Kirwa says is true, then you have reason to worry. Because if at all they wait until very close to the election and then they come out with a formidable candidate against yours, don't you think you'll have a problem there?
I think Jubilee, we are ready for whatever they present to us. But I would like to say that if you look at the headline in the Standard and you listen to the words my friend in the opposition, Kirwa and Honorable Ken are saying, they are perfect politicians. If I was in their shoe, I would say the same as well. But Kalonzo Musyoka, for the first or the second, third time, one by the name Raila Odinga has never forgiven him. Because in 2007, Kalonzo Musyoka is the one who divided the orange. If the orange was not divided, the results could have been otherwise. They went to the elections. Kalonzo is a candidate, Kibaki is a candidate, Raila is a candidate. When there was the results were too close to call, Kalonzo was quick enough to join Kibaki and give Kibaki side a lot of weight. That's another way of stifling the ambitions of Raila Odinga. And for the following 4 years, they kept on fighting who is bigger than the other, vice president or the prime minister. They even used to fight over who is going to step on the carpet before the other. So this is something which is, they have not forgiven one another. When Honorable Kirwa says that the good thing is that these gentlemen are talking, it would have been rather if they are not talking. Because now they are talking, but they are not telling each other the truth. They would rather be silent, but hoping one day they speak the truth about each other's potential becoming candidates.
Okay.
The way it is now, as a wind-up, is that there is a lot of uneasiness from Kalonzo Musyoka and from Wetangula. Because the emergence of Mudavadi as a senior ruler politician threatens the position of Wetangula. The same case Kalonzo is saying is the high time you step down for me, Raila Odinga. Because you are supposed to be a one-time president, then I will be the president in the next, this year. So Kalonzo is saying, this is my turn. So as it is now, what I can foresee, and I know I'm stepping on a few toes here, I can see from the reaction, is that I expect Raila Odinga to be a presidential candidate with a running mate. And I expect, and that running mate could be Kirwa here. Who is a man I respect. I also expect Kalonzo Musyoka to be a candidate deputized by Wetangula. So the NASA is something that may not come to fruition.
Yes, gentlemen, because of time, we have another interview immediately after this news review, and it's about ending myths on prostate health, and that concerns men. And I'll give you an opportunity to make a comment about this at the very end, but we have very few minutes remaining. I want to give Bwana Barak Muluka a chance to comment on this. Then probably you can give your final comments as we wrap up.
The first thing is that Mheshimiwa talks about NAC. NAC was going to go the same way that NASA seems to be going. That it is something that has captured the imagination of the citizens. The citizens are ahead of the leaders. They would actually like to see this thing called NASA materializing, but the leaders are very slow. What made NAC survive was that there was one individual who was bold enough to come out and say, Kibaki Tosha, and that ended the debate. Is somebody going to be bold enough this time to come forward and say that one of them Tosha? If they do that, then they are likely to survive. I've seen this headline here, and I have heard what the honorable members of the panel have said. I have interacted with Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka's autobiography. Well, it's a kind of autobiographical work. As a publishing editor, I would not exactly call it an autobiography, but it tends to be within that stream. I have tried to look for a charitable description for that biography, but I think I owe it to myself and to my fellow citizens to say that this is a narcissistic piece of literature.
That's Kalonzo Musyoka's autobiography?
Yes. It is a narcissistic piece of literature, that it's just about self-focus. Even when it's talking about other people, it is a package of whining and whimpering about betrayal, real and perceived, about how he has always been trying to go to the top, but people have been pulling him down. From President Moi, President Kibaki, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, candidate Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, the whole lot, and Kabudl, how they have betrayed him and been stumbling stones. When I read this kind of work, I expect to see the philosophy, the visionary thrust, the missionary perspective what it is that you are offering the people, how
that.
you become the leader that we should believe in and whom we should therefore vote for. It's good that leaders are now writing these autobiographical works, and this is beginning to enable us to see who they are and to understand who they are. And I would not be surprised that with this kind of thing, Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, who at some point in the past I had a lot of respect for and admiration for, could bolt from this whole NASA thing. I invite you to get a copy for yourself and read it.
Okay. Thank you, Bwana Barack Muluka. Because of time, I'll give you gentlemen only 30 seconds for your final submissions. Remember, we have another conversation about ending needs on prostate health. You could comment on that as well, even as you give your final comment on this. 30 seconds only, Bwana Ndugu.
Thank you for this opportunity. I would like to say that finally, I just want to say 2 seconds that the headline in the Standard on the Kalonzo issue, appearing on a Standard, which is ODM leading newspaper, it's actually a way of getting.
That's
I think that
perception.
is wrong.
That's perception.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's my perception. Is a way, is one of the things, one of the issues of trying to get Kalonzo out of the way. Secondly, I would like to call upon voters from across Kenya. I mean, people who don't have voters card from across Kenya, to wake up and go and take the electors card, especially from Kirinyaga County, so that when it comes to time, we can make our decision and grow the country together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bwana Ndugu.
In July 2002, you would not have convinced any Kenyan that Kibaki was going to be the president, and you would not have believed that he was going to be the joint opposition candidate against Uhuru Kenyatta. Today, take it from me, in June this year, we are going to have a candidate. And the narrative from Mheshimiwa Barua is Jubilee narrative. They don't wish us to be together. But Kenyans, the way Barack said, are determined that you must get united and deal a devastating blow to Jubilee government.
Okay.
Yeah, that is my statement.
Thank you, Bwana.
I think also from our side as CORD and NASA, let us make sure Jubilee does not win the election at registration stage. Let us execute very clearly our voter registration strategy. Let us cut on the road shows and the noise and actually go to polling centers and markets, coordinate the movement of these kits, however few or many they are, to the places where our people are. If there's a market day in Misambi, let the MP for that area take that thing to the market there and work with the IBC to register the people at the market. If there's a parents-teachers meeting in a place in Kibra, let me get a kit with the IBC team there to register any parent who's there. Let us win this election based on real voters registered, not on ghost voters. Let us audit that register so we have a clean and credible election. And let us do the campaigns in a manner that is peaceful, that doesn't divide Kenyans, but unifies us, and let it be about issues. I can tell you, out in the opposition for the last 4 years, Raila and Kalonzo have stayed together, and Wetangula. CORD has not fallen apart. Where we have come from is much further. The temptations to break up were much higher. We are left with 6 months, less than 7 months to the elections. It would be a folly to break apart now. It is time to consolidate the team and set an agenda for the country and an alternative.
Finally,
the pot usually gets broken just after you have gotten into the house. You can ask anybody who has gone to the stream to fetch water. They will tell you that this is a reality, and we have seen it happen in this country before. We saw it happen in what was ODM Kenya, and it could happen again. There are pulsating questions in this country today which are urgently crying for leadership, that instead of these people gallivanting all over the place asking for votes, they should be going to those troubled areas to see how they can intervene. President Moi would have been to Mandera by now, he would have been to Turkana, he would have been to Baringo, to Pokot, to Korogocho, and all those other places that Mheshimiwa Ken Okoth has talked about. Let us see leaders showing us why they want to be leaders. But finally, there are good leaders, young leaders who need to be nurtured in this country, who should be given an opportunity and who should not be obstructed. Ken Okoth here is one of them. I'm a voter in Nairobi. I vote in Dagoretti North, but I'm going to transfer to Kibra because this man deserves to be voted.
Thank you.
But
one more vote.
Yes.
For Bwana Ken Okoth.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Vote
much,
for Ken
Barak Muluka, political analyst, Ken Okoth, MP Kibra, Njogu Barua, MP Gishugu, and Kipruto Arap Kirwa, deputy party leader, ANC. You realize that all these gentlemen have steered clear of that debate about prostate health. It is a very touchy issue. It is very serious, especially for people above a certain age, for men above a certain age.
They're afraid, all of them.
That discussion is going to be here on Power Breakfast this morning. It's about ending myths on prostate health. You better stand by for that. My name is Freddie Ndimuli. Good morning.